This is Melissa Hull. Please write down her name on a sheet of paper. She's looking for certain things that she will now tell you she's looking for. You're all going to be doing what I've trained you to do, which is a 60-second, because there's over 80 of you here who may choose to speak today.
What I look for is authenticity. I want to know, I can feel people's energy. I'm very aware that way. I know when a person is telling me their truth or when they're giving me a version of it.
Teenage mother, married, divorced, widowed, all before the age of 29 years old. This lady here was me.
I want people who are really open, who want to truly go there and speak to people in an authentic, truthful way, because that's how you're going to get into their hearts and open up their minds. It doesn't start with logic, my friends, it starts with connection.
This is Melissa Hull, and it's our privilege today. She's going to share her world with you, and we'll share our world with her. And I promise you, I am absolutely certain we will all come away richer for this day.
Life hasn't necessarily been easy. Been a little confused about why it is that it's been so hard. Different points of my life, I've definitely struggled with internal pain and just not wanting to hurt anymore. The worst of it came one day. Let me just take a step back and just ask you to kind of paint this mental picture. How many of you are parents? How many of you are familiar with the activity of a 4-year-old little boy? Okay, so you know they're a little hard to control. Sort of like corralling cats. So picture me, young mother, 2 little boys, 4.5 and 3, Drew, the oldest, Devin, the youngest. Very ambitious husband, working all the time, oftentimes away from home, to build what from the outside looked like this perfect life, this American dream, if you will. I really did, from the outside looking in, look like I had it all. Successful husband, stay-at-home mother, didn't have to want for anything. Everything was available to us. And yet I was sad and I was lonely because I was oftentimes just by myself trying to figure it out. Being overwhelmed and exhausted by the activity of this 4-year-old little boy, my little boy Drew, I struggled. I struggled at being a mom. I struggled with patience. I struggled with making time about him and what he needed and not about what I needed. So I struggled with him. I had to work really hard to connect with my son, whom I loved, but I struggled with. If I said no, please don't do this, it was the first thing he was going to do. How many of you are familiar with a little one like that? Yeah. Okay. So Drew had this habit of waking up extremely early in the day, like 4:30 in the morning was his call time, and I had to create the rule. Drew, we stay in bed until the sun comes up. So don't get out of bed until the sun comes up. So, okay, all right, Mommy, I can do that. My younger son, Devin, was an asthmatic. How many of you have had a child with asthma? Okay, it's when, obviously you know what it is, they can't breathe. Well, I had been up for 2 days while my husband was away from home, doing breathing treatments day and night, trying to keep him from having to go to the hospital. So on this particular morning, when Drew woke up at 5 a.m. and the sun was up, I live in Arizona, so the sun comes up pretty early. I got up with my beautiful little boy, and I got him breakfast, his favorite one at the time, beef raviolis. Anybody recommend eating that? I didn't, but at 5 a.m. when you're exhausted, it sounds perfect. So beef raviolis, placed him in, at the table, gave him his favorite crayons and a big coloring book, and I said, hey, I'm going to be right back. I'm going to go check on Devin, make sure he's okay. Go back to the bedroom. Devin is laying down, and I can see he's starting to kind of wake up, and I just needed him to stay asleep. He was exhausted. I was exhausted. So I laid down beside him, and I patted his back. And the next thing I realized, I woke up. I had no idea how long I had fallen asleep. But I knew instantly that something wasn't quite right, because when Drew's in the house, it's loud. It's never quiet. And it was silent. Absolutely silent. And that fear, how many of you know that fear? You're like, oh, something's not right. Instantly I knew something was not right. So I got up out of bed, and I immediately went through the house looking for him. I couldn't find him. And then I realized the door to the backyard was open just ever so slightly. And I thought, oh, good, he's outside. Problem solved, he's outside. Run outside. Drew, where are you? Come on, this isn't funny anymore. You need to come back inside. Come on, let's get the day started. You're not supposed to do this. I'm calling out, and there's no answer. And then I looked down, and I had a lot of dogs, and they came running toward me, but they were wet. And I thought, what in the heck? I don't have a swimming pool. What happened? Why are these dogs wet? And then I looked down, and I can see my son's footprints walking towards a very large irrigation canal. I don't see him, but I see the evidence of where he had traveled. So I ran, and I ran as fast as I could. And I saw where, obviously, he had fallen in, but there was no sign of him. It was at that time a gentleman drove by in a truck, and he said, "Can I help you? Are you okay?" And I said, "No, I'm not okay. My son must have fallen into this irrigation canal, and I don't know what to do. Can you please call the authorities? Please help me." And he said, "Sure." And he said, "Why don't you go back to the house?" Because I managed to communicate that my son Devin was still home. And I turned and I collapsed. And as I laid there, trying to find the strength to get up and go back home, I knew in my heart my son was gone. And I knew when I called my husband and I told him that I had fallen asleep and we'd lost our little boy, that would pretty much mean that my marriage was over. And a month after we buried our little boy, he left. So I was heartbroken. I was completely in despair. I didn't want to live. I didn't think I was a good mom. I felt so low. I blamed myself. I hated the look of me in the mirror. I didn't want to see me. I didn't think anybody would ever find value in a mother who failed to do the one thing that we all know we're supposed to do, which is keep them safe and raise them up well. So I had the plan, I had the pills, I had the liquor, I had the note, I had the intention of stopping this pain that I just couldn't get away from. It's not that I wanted to die, I just couldn't bear the hurt anymore. And then I looked down at the coffee table where I had all of these things that were going to help me, just get out of pain. And there was this letter. So I picked it up, I opened it up, and it was this letter from a woman named Teresa. That's all I know. Her name is Teresa. She was a mother who lost her daughter to an accident. Her daughter was hit by a car while riding a bike. So I thought, okay, more pain. I can hear about this woman's pain. And I started to judge this letter, to be very honest, I did. I thought, I don't want to read this. But something kept me interested to get to the end, because there was these big, bold letters. And the words were, "If you choose." And what she said is, if you choose, you can live the best life ever. If you choose to find gratitude in the experience of loving your child for however long that was, you can find joy. If you choose. Powerful words. And in that moment, I chose to believe in the hope that she was giving me. She gave me the hope that maybe I could do it. I didn't know. It took time. And I do choose. I choose every day. I am grateful for the little boy that I had for 4.5 years named Drew William Lawrence Gallemore, Drew Willie Larry as we like to call him. He is my why, my reason for why I do what I do. I'm paying it forward. This is my way of saying thank you to Teresa, because I don't know what's going on in the lives of the people that I speak to. I just know that I'm called to speak. One of the things that I've always appreciated is when I can really learn from another person. If I'm always the smartest person in the room, I can't really learn. Wouldn't you agree? It's good to surround yourself with people who know more than you do.
Yep.
So why would I do that? Because it adds value, right? Isn't that really what we're all trying to do, is add value to the lives of other people? So communicate what values you're adding, what solutions you're offering, what problems you're solving, or what life experience you've grown from. That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for people, everyday people just like me. And trust me, I am as ordinary as they get. I'm really not all that, extraordinary. But I live a life that is designed to be extraordinary by purpose. I choose this. I want you to choose this as well. So when you're up here talking to me, remember that. I am just like you, but I took a few extra steps, right? Are you willing to take those extra steps too?
Yep.
How are you going to get other people to want to take those extra steps if you're not communicating them effectively? So let me learn from you.
My mom divorced my father when I was 3 years old, and I remember sitting on my mom's lap, and I was consoling her for years after that. And when I went into school, I got C's and D's in school, and I got into drugs, heavily addicted to methamphetamine, cocaine, alcohol, and I climbed to the top of a cell tower, and I was ready to take my own life. And I started thinking that there has to be a reason that I'm here. And years later, I met Joel, and I found that my reason is helping people, interviewing them, and hearing their story and putting it into books. So I created a process to do that in 3 hours. And I'm really excited about it. I love you guys. And thank you.
Love you too, man.
I may have written this book. I may be a speaker. I may have a lot of money. But none of you know me. Not even you, my business partner. I realized this at lunch today. Not one of you know me. Some of you stay away from me. Some of you come up to me and we have very superficial conversations. I want to be known. I want to make a difference in people's lives. I want you to know me. I want you to know me, and I want to know you. And I want to know what's in your heart, and I want to help you in your businesses to really make people feel special and to make a difference in people's lives.
Our next international traveler, speaker, visionary, bodybuilder, available bachelor.
Now we're talking.
Aren't you married?
No, I'm not. The ripple effect in action. Okay.
Hi, Melissa.
Hello.
Russell Reynolds, and today I'll be playing the role of Sniffles the Clown. It's cold as in everybody. Imagine you can't sleep because you too embarrassed to go to bed without a t-shirt on because you let yourself go. And you're ashamed of your body and you don't want to be seen. Sexuality, it's gone. Self-confidence, gone. Every mirror, a reflection of self-judgment.
You guys have made this really difficult, and I want to thank you for that, because there are many of you that left a lasting impression on me. Your stories communicated something to me that I want to share with the world. Because I do believe that it is ordinary people doing extraordinary things by stepping into what the possibilities are that they can do. How can they impact the life of another person? And that's what I was looking for. Who are those people that are really wanting to go there? And I'm very, very fortunate to know and to see that there's so many of you that do, and it's going to be very difficult. So please, don't, be kind as I make these announcements.
So,
No.
this is going to be a time process, but you're about to select how many? Give me the magic number from this group of over 80 who spoke.